Let's see. Let's see. We should be up. And hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. WRGOA, what's going on? Okay, guys. We are live. Yep, we up. Welcome back to the Chicago Conservative live stream edition, guys. Thank you guys for joining the live today. And, we're going to take a little break from politics today. You know what I'm saying? Maybe kind of not really, because we're talking about Tomi Lahren and she kind of into politics. What's going on, everybody? You know what I'm saying? So, today, guys, we're going to be talking about something a little interesting because Tomi Lahren, she's kind of popular in the conservative world. But there's talk of the town saying that she might be an undercover feminist when she did this debate with Andrew Wilson. Was it on Piers Morgan? Yeah, Piers Morgan, man. That's my guy. I ain't gonna lie. I love Piers Morgan. So she was basically saying that, she's married and stuff, but women shouldn't have kids or something like that. I'm not really sure yet because, I got to watch the footage first. But we're going to be reacting to this with none other than Pearly Things because I couldn't see other video. So without further ado, guys, we're going to get right into it. Let's roll the clip.
Destroy Tomi Lahren. Oh, it was so funny. So as you guys know, right here, it wasn't about, right here is Tomi Lahren. Tomi Lahren was a big Fox News host back in the day. She was just known for being like this blonde. You know what? I'll show you guys one of her old rants.
I don't fear it, but it's amazing. I'm a millennial. I look at my fellow millennials. I look at those that are on college campuses right now, and I see them actively protesting for fewer rights. They want less free speech. Let that sink in. That's the problem. That's the culture on college campuses right now. And they really need to change this because I don't think they realize how damaging they are to themselves.
Now, can we be honest here? Why is she employed? Can we just be real? Be real. Is she employed because she has a lot of life experience?
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to go out on a limb and just say because she's cute. But that's just me. I mean, I'm not saying she's not smart, but let's be honest, that's what all of these women news people, even the women's sports broadcasters, the only reason why you're on TV is because you're like a 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10 or up.
22. No, she's employed because she's hot. Let's just in conservative.
Never saw this. I'm telling y'all, I never miss, guys. This is insanity. I'm telling you, I don't miss.
Media, she's like a 10.
Let's roll that back.
Employed because she's hot. Let's just in conservative media, she's like a 10 because remember all the mids going to conservative media. If we were hotter, we'd be on we'd go be models or something. But us mids, we gotta.
And that's the thing. If they put Bertha up there, they're not gonna get any views. And that's why you got MSNBC, DNC. They losing so many views because they was putting people up there like Joyless Reed. You know what I'm saying? She looks insane. Nobody want to keep watching that on TV, especially when you are crazy and your only takes was talking about Trump all the time. People don't want to see all of this weird feminist junk. It's honestly old and it honestly doesn't benefit women at all. But we're going to get into that later.
Got to do some work. So here we are. So again, in conservative media, she's like a 10,
Into the future on college campus, really.
Sure. Up to respect women, to not behave in a misogynist way, and to behave in a pretty decent way generally. But I'm also aware that they've grown up in an era when the likes of Andrew Tate and others have become increasingly dominant in the way that a lot of impressionable young men start to think and view women. And for all that Andrew Tate can say that is positive about getting fit and being successful and confident and so on, there's indisputably a hardcore streak of misogyny that runs through his veins, which I think has been quite damaging to young men. So I'm not all in either way here, but I can certainly see the arguments. Where do you sit?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that so I watched the show, and it just goes through a typical feminine view, right? So all of these things are always through the prism of the feminine. So young boys, they don't do well at school. They don't do well in school because it's all programmed for the feminine. Stay still, fold your hands, right? Be quiet. Boys are rambunctious. They like to beat each other up. They like to be mischievous. They like to break things. They like to do that kind of stuff. There's no outlet for them to do that stuff. Their teachers are all women, right? There's basically all masculinity is now considered toxic. Basically all of it. The same women who are getting their double shot of espresso on the way over to the school they're about to teach at. They're 24 years old. Sometimes they're banging their own students, right? Hilariously enough. And then these people go out to
what the
Parliament. The same women will go to Parliament. They vote to send men off to war to stab each other in the face with bayonets. And you're concerned about toxic masculinity. It cracks me up. It's like the brutal savagery of men is a necessary precondition for society to exist. And we just kind of pretend like it's.
Can I just give you guys just a base take for a second? Yeah, if it wasn't for like good men who like, you know, protect society, the world would like be in chaos right now. Like the whole world would be like Sodom and Gomorrah. If it wasn't law and order, and if men didn't enforce that law and order throughout the whole world, yeah, the world would be like kind of messed up. So it's like, you know, men do have to like even die for this, like police officers, soldiers, things like that. Men have to die to protect the cause, which is to keep the law and order of the world.
It's not. And this show should actually be an indictment on the feminine rather than the masculine, because basically masculinity is just punished everywhere all the time, nonstop. It's no wonder guys like Andrew Tate get so famous in these spaces. I mean, what's the alternative? The alternative is everything must be feminine, tone policing, nonsense like this. It's ridiculous.
All right, James Barr, you were laughing, but I don't think you had a joy crazy. What you're hearing.
No, I mean I don't think you've seen the show. Episode 2 is shot entirely in.
So again, we got the more dominant guy. We got Andrew Wilson, right? And then we got the two simps. It's always this dynamic. There's one guy who has balls, and then the rest will attack him for the woman. It's so obvious.
School, I didn't see one of the female teachers drinking a double shot of espresso at all. None of the teachers were flirting with students. There were male teachers as well. I don't think you're describing the show here. I think you're describing your own insecurities or agenda.
Dude, you need to go back to wherever fairyland you came from, bro. What are you
There's gaslighting.
Yeah, so this doesn't contend with the argument. Like, do you understand that I'm making an argument, an indictment of society itself, based around my ideas that I'm seeing from this show? That's what I'm actually doing. So if you could contend with the fact that male savagery is necessary for the security of a nation, and that women will indeed vote in the future in parliaments to send men off to war to stab each other in the face at 18 years old with bayonets, perhaps you can contend with that before we start, getting into, well, tone policing is actually good and toxic masculinity is actually bad. It's like, I think there needs to be a little bit more toxic masculinity, or what you consider to be toxic masculinity.
Well, great. Good for you.
Nothing.
Everything is toxic to people nowadays. Like, what is this so-called toxic masculinity? Like men being men, boys being boys? What is toxic masculinity? If anybody can put that in the chat, what does that even mean? I don't understand. Like, what are these terms?
I'm glad you think so.
Nothing.
I just like, you got nothing. KKB says, look who's monetized now. Congrats. I've always appreciated you guys telling these guys what women are like in reality. As the mom of a grown conservative son, these are all the things I've preached to him as he's grown up. Much love for you, long time, but from your long time but only lady fan. Thank you. I didn't think you guys existed. I better, if there's any women watching, put a comment under the stream, because I don't really think there's any.
don't need to argue with that because
you just unlocked. You just unlocked. You got nothing.
I'm sorry, guys. I like this comment. What's going on, Squid? But I like this comment that this guy said. I bet a woman would want toxic masculinity if they were attacked by a bear or an alligator. Now there was this meme, right, saying, "Oh, if you're in the forest, who would you rather be in the forest with, a bear or a man?" The women were literally choosing the bear. So you got women out there who would actually prefer the bear over the man, guys. So they would actually prefer to be eaten alive. That's crazy. That's where feminism is nowadays, man.
You're making up.
You do seem unusually.
I've not said anything. I haven't literally said nothing about.
James, you were literally rendered silent.
Because I'll tell you what, you can't argue with a completely illogical argument that has, like, I've not made any.
It's a logical argument. You may not agree with it.
I've not made any.
Making a perfectly logical argument
that you are firing at me. None of those comments are things I've said or believe in.
All right, I want to bring Tomi in because Tomi, you've got a very interesting perspective. I think you've talked about something different. You call it the pussification of men.
Oh. I'm getting too excited because it's so good. Look at, do you see Andrew? You see him, he's like, I am ready to go. And then Tomi, oh.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. Andrew Wilson do be cooking. Man, W Andrew in the chat, bro. Cause he do be cooking when he fire that cigarette up, boy, it's over with.
Oh.
I ain't gonna lie.
Which is a great phrase. I'd love you to just explain what you mean by that. But also, you're not a fan of Andrew Tate or the influence he has. So that makes you, I think, an interesting commentator in this area. So just explain, first of all, the pussification of men.
All right, Piers. Well, I think, and I can't see you all, so forgive me if I'm incorrect here, but I think I'm the only female on this panel, so I'm really anxious to weigh in. Okay, so I think
why do you lead with your gender? I mean,
the last probably 10 years, there has.
That is a good point. I'm the only female on the panel, so I get the say-so of what a woman should think. Oh, I mean, all right.
Has been what I call the pussification of men. It was everything should be about your emotions and your feelings, and men were emasculated, and this whole concept of toxic masculinity warped the minds of a lot of young men. And they felt masculine, they wanted to be masculine, but society was telling them they should be softer, that it was being toxically masculine if you wanted to play sports and chop wood and go to war. And so men were so emasculated and so beat down that then there was this revolution of what was actually toxic masculinity, the Tate brothers and others, which I feel as a female that doesn't.
Now, I know about this Andrew Tate case. I actually haven't even seen any evidence of them doing anything. Now, I'm not saying they did it. I'm not saying they didn't, but I mean, I have yet to see any evidence. I seen one video of a girl walking out of his mansion. But I mean, if you held hostage and all of that, then it's like, how's you walking in and out?
Doesn't represent true masculinity. That to me represents douchebaggery. And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. I see that as being actually masculine. That's like the man that
So remember, masculinity is only celebrated when it's in the service of women. So all of the things she listed, they don't benefit you.
That's what I was just finna say, man. And then I would even add on that she didn't say that she wanted kids. That's a big red flag. She just said, someone who's going to protect me, give me money, provide for me, this, that, and third. Like, you didn't even say, give me a family. Like, what are you talking about? Man, guys, can we go back? Hold on, right, go ahead.
Man that
so remember, masculine.
Hold on, guys.
Of what was actually toxic masculinity, the Tate brothers and others, which I feel as a female that doesn't represent true masculinity. That to me represents douchebaggery. And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. I see that as being actually masculine. That's like the man that
So remember, masculinity is.
But not give you kids? Okay. I agree with her too, but it's like, I mean, that's what all women want. I mean, to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? Not the freakishly, you know, radical left women, you know, they don't want nothing to do with men at all. I mean, I agree with her, but the thing is like, I mean, real conservative women would think about having a family. You know what I'm saying? Like they prioritize family and, you know, children.
Is only celebrated when it's in the service of women. So all of the things she listed, they don't benefit you, the male, they benefit her. Okay?
I grew up with my dad. But what we're seeing now is these young men who look at Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers and they see somebody who's just quite frankly a douchebag and disrespects women. And because they've been so emasculated, they're like, oh, great, that's a manly man. But that's not right either. So at some point, I think we'll go back to maybe meeting in the middle here. You can be a man who has feelings and emotions, but you can also go to war and protect and defend your family. I'm hoping we can get back there. But
so whenever women say it's about balance or meet in the middle, it's just them arguing to argue. And it's very easy to say that because they make no point. Like, what is the middle? Are you the one that deciphers what the balance is?
That's a good point.
Two extremes right now. They're confusing men, and quite frankly, they're leaving women with few choices, and that's the real tragedy here.
You see?
Yeah. So again,
no, I would actually disagree with that. I actually believe that women are giving themselves less choices because their standards are too high now, man. Like you ladies want a dude that have it all. And men just can't have it all. There's this analogy with the elevator, and you know, women was like, oh, okay, this man has money. Okay, this man has money and handsome. Okay, this man has money, is handsome, and has a big house. Okay, go to the next one. This man has money, has a nice house, handsome, and loves kids. And you know what I'm saying? Then they go all the way up to the elevator, and then it's like at that point there are no men there because you know you're fairly delusional because there are no perfect men out here, you know. And it's like when it comes to these women, it's like they believe that a man should have all of this money and you know all this, that, and the third, and a man is still trying to establish himself around the age 18 to 25, even in his early 30s, I believe. Like he don't really hit his financial stride until he hit his like mid 30s to you know, early 40s. So I'm just being logical here, you know what I'm saying? But you should, and that's why, you know, men don't want to get married anymore because, you know, women aren't sticking it out for the long run anymore. It should be for better or for worse. But women, they would put their happiness over, you know, family. They would prefer like, oh, I'm not happy anymore, so I'm divorcing you. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you know, men aren't getting the better, they're getting the shit end of the stick, basically.
Again, now she's complaining there aren't enough men for us. Really, someone who looks like that, no masculine, none.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But Andrew, you were shaking your head quite vigorously. Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just more feminine or feminist nonsense ultimately. And the covert feminism in society is big, especially on the conservative side. So here's what happens, right? Women need to have feminine virtues for men to be pursuing masculine virtues, for you to say things like, well, men, what I want is for men to protect me and I want men to make money. Well, that's great. What that ends up doing is it gives you a set of privilege in society. What do men get? What do men get for doing that for you?
Do you look at her face? Look at her face. She's never been told the truth ever in her life. This is the problem.
But that's a good question, though. Like, what do men get out of the deal, though? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you guys got to remember, men want kids too. I would actually argue that men nowadays want kids more than women because, you know, the women are kind of killing them nowadays with abortion. So it's like, you know, men love kids, you know, because they want to leave their seed when they die. You know what I'm saying? That's why we really want to reproduce with women. It's, I mean, look, you can hate me, you can love me, but that's what we're put on earth to do, guys.
Problem. Look at you, get women like this, and they get clout too young and they have no one to humble them. They just think they're right about everything. They really do. I mean,
what are we getting from women for doing that? Are we getting?
Look, he says, what are we getting from women in return? Why is that an offensive question?
Chaste virgins on our wedding night? No, we're not getting chaste virgins on our wedding night. Are we getting women of great virtue? No, we're not getting women of great virtue. The idea of courtly love is supposed to be done.
Like,
her face is kind of crazy. She is making all these snooty faces because it's like, I mean, I would love to hear her response though. So let's see.
For women of great virtue, where are they? Well, they're nowhere. And so in modernity and society, when female conservative influencers say this, it's actually a form of covert feminism. They're saying, I want privilege in society, right? But what is it women are giving to men to get it? What are they giving them? Tell me.
Well,
Can I please chime in here?
Yes. You can.
Let her speak, please. Don't do it, fairy tale.
Yeah. And then James can.
Not a girl.
No.
Like, chill out.
I would love to. I love this whole thing of like, if you're a female conservative and you don't believe that men should be douchebags, that all of a sudden you're a covert feminist. Call me a feminist. I really don't give one crap one way or another, but I can.
What do you mean call you a feminist? First of all, you not answering the question. And second of all, you just basically said call you a feminist. So you are a feminist. Okay.
Can tell you
she gives a crap. She definitely gives a crap. You see her?
Yeah.
Did you see her eyebrows? Her eyebrows were moving through her Botox. Do you know how? Because you see, I got nothing in the face, so you could see that. Like, if her eyebrows are moving through all that Botox, whoo!
this. A lot of these men, these podcast hosts on the right that like to think of themselves as these big masculine men, and what am I getting out of it? I can tell you
that should. Okay, imagine if you, as an employer, you
do realize if these masculine men wasn't around, then people would be doing whatever they want, right? These masculine men are a majority of the military. These masculine men are a majority of the police. These masculine men are the majority of the firefighters. What are you talking about, man? I hate when women do this shit, man. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, bro. Because it's like when stuff really hit the fan, who do you really want to slide? This dude in the blue shirt? Like, let's just keep it a band. Let's keep it a band-aid here, y'all. If stuff really hits the fan, who do you really want to show up? You don't want the masculine man to show up? Who do you want to show up then? This dude? Make it make sense.
You said you.
Did they forget, like, it's bad people still out here? Like, what is, okay.
I wanted to hire someone. And I said, hey, what do I get out of hiring you? And the person says, well, you think you're so cool with your podcast. And I mean, the guys are like, what do I get out of dedicating my life to you? Ah! She freaks out.
There's that feminist.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She didn't even answer the question.
I believe I'm a woman of virtue, right? Yeah, there's the feminism. Oh, and then you're interrupting me too.
Didn't take long,
I let you talk. It's my turn.
Did it?
Okay.
And then she can't handle being interrupted. You're in a debate show.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to speak over a man?
Yeah, I don't care if you call me. I don't really care if you call me a
strong,
feminist.
Independent woman.
Yeah. Yeah. You're actually interrupting me. I didn't interrupt you when you were spewing your bullshit. So now it's my turn. Okay.
You mean the truth?
Ooh, she cursing now? Ooh, it's getting spicy.
Like I said before.
Look.
So I believe there we go again. Piers, I'm a woman of virtue. I happen to be independently successful. I have a husband who's not only a former professional athlete.
Yo. Oh, man. She really is a feminist. I'm independently successful. Oh, bro. Oh, brother.
Woman of virtue. I happen to be independently successful. I have a husband who's not only a former professional athlete.
So now she's trying to defend her reputation. Because again, these women what they think is they get virtue points because they are conservative. And so oftentimes.
And then I would just like to add, just because you're married don't mean you can't be a feminist.
It's like, we have a tendency to have shittier personalities because, we don't really, we attribute saying conservative things to being a better person, but men don't care. They do not care.
But is currently a professional baseball coach. So is he not a masculine man? I mean, I'm confused here. What's your concept?
So again, conservative women cannot help
What
but
is that
using their
supposed to
family to
mean?
virtue signal. So she's trying to say, no, I'm a good woman. My husband used to be in the MLB and he's a coach, okay? I'm a good woman. So they use their relationships for clout.
Don't you understand that misses
Mine
the
is
point?
a man who respects me.
Yeah, that misses the point, though. Like, you're still not contending with the argument that I'm making.
What's your point?
I'm saying inside of society, right this second, right? Masculinity.
Oh, I'm so happy they picked her. I am so happy. Pierce, I'm not even mad.
Is not only punished, but also women on the right, overt feminists on the right, are constantly and consistently talking about how they need to have privilege in society. I want men. Their version of masculinity is men who take care of us, men who protect us, men who do all of this. Those are all duties that men have towards women. Great. What are the duties that women have towards men? What are the duties that women have towards anything? What do men get out of this arrangement? What are we getting out of this arrangement? Can you tell me?
I mean,
I would argue that men,
let Tomi
most men are
respond.
born.
Bro, why? I don't know why I'm getting mad when the blue dude in the blue shirt is trying to respond. Dude, you, like she said, she's the only female on the panel, bro. Let her answer the question. Why is you trying to talk for her like you a girl, bro? Shut up. Shut up. Like, be quiet. Ain't nobody trying to hear you, blue shirt. Go do some push-ups, bro. Literally.
Born that way.
Let Tomi respond to that.
Yeah. And she still can't answer the question. What do men get out of it?
And then I'll come to you, Jez. Then Sean, you've been waiting patiently. So
most men are born to be protectors and providers. I can't imagine my dad saying, you know what, to my mom.
See, again, do you see what you dads do? Do you see what you do? You guys create brats. You really do. It's the simp dad effect.
You know what? I'm not going to be a...
Do you think she heard the word no from her father ever?
Protector and a provider unless you do this. That's not how...
She's my little princess. It's like, for what? Really? For what?
How real men operate. Real men are protectors and providers.
Yeah. And so this is where I have a PowerPoint on this. So again, what happens is we go back to
what
conservative women. They see the men. They say feminism. Yay, I want to be like the men. I'm going to join a man's world. Oh no, if I get fired, I'm going to falsely accuse them or create drama. And then if they don't get what they want, they scream, you're not a real man. And then so they want all the benefits of traditionalism, but without giving up their job, nagging their husband, or giving obedience. So yeah, they can never say, what do the men? Oh, I forgot to put kids in there.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing. Like, that's what I said earlier. Like, women are just prioritizing. Like, I'm not saying you can't prioritize a career and things like that. Like, if you want to do that, by all means, go ahead and do that. Like, I don't like, do your thing. But it's going to be hard to do that if you're trying to have children in the future. You know what I'm saying? Because let's just be honest, like, time's ticking, you know? And I mean, preferably back in the day, the man would work, you know what I'm saying? And the woman would prioritize children. And they did have children that, you know, she would take care of the house. You know, she would be the homemaker.
If they do have kids, they got to get a nanny to raise.
And then they push feminism real hard because the government definitely wanted more taxes, guys. More workers mean more taxes.
Obviously, they can't do it. They're busy.
Fighters, and they marry women who hopefully have some virtue, but also bring a lot to the table as well, that are great mothers, great wives, caretakers of the home. There's nothing wrong with being a traditional wife and mother. You're misunderstanding me if you think that I think that women should just be out doing whatever they want. I think that there are gender roles that should respect it, but I don't think a man needs to get something.
He said, I love getting lectured by a woman on what real men are. Even the guy in the middle laughed.
Out of it to be a manly man, a protector, and a provider. If you think you need to get something out of it, I quite frankly don't consider you a real man.
Yeah, so you have nothing. So you have nothing.
But we'll discuss in a moment whether Andrew Wilson is a real man.
Piers, I offer nothing. I offer nothing.
You offer me a lot of things, Tomi.
Yeah, he said he didn't offer a single argument. Okay, super chat from, so you are trying to take off the mask.
I always love having you on the show. You know that. Let's go to a real man, James Barr.
Thank you. I do see myself as a man.
Pierce is such a troll, bro. Yo, Pierce is so funny, man. Talking about let's get a real man in, bro. This dude been dying to talk. Like, come on, bro. You've been trying to answer the woman question for the woman.
Man, and I know that you'll be looking at me thinking, well, you're not, you're wearing makeup, you're wearing colorful clothes, like, look at me, I'm really camp, my nails are painted.
I mean, they are worrying.
You know, you're sat there smoking a cigarette. I'd love to get a vape out. And
you finna get skipped in a minute, bro. I think Pearl finna skip you for me, if I'm being honest.
Start drinking.
So now the men will start arguing for her. And especially, I'm going to skip.
All right, whether they're...
Oh, God!
So this other guy then starts simping for Tommy.
Oh, man, why they
And it's so funny. She looks so smug. She thinks she won.
gravitated to people like that?
He's mad. You see, he's like, how dare you talk to a lady like that?
Because I have.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so I think it's, you know, first of all, we got to understand that we have an amazing responsibility as a parent.
Now, here's the thing. Conservative men are the worst in a different way. So conservative men, what they've done is they've taken a bad deal and they're miserable. Okay. And everybody can tell they're miserable. You know, like Matt Walsh, he's getting henpecked by his wife. It's not his house, you know.
What? Did she just say Matt Walsh is getting pegged?
And they,
oh my God.
like, misery loves company. And so what they love to do is they signed the marriage contract. So they signed up for misery, right? And they want all the other men to be miserable with them. And they'll say they're irresponsible or shame them if other men benefit from female sexuality. So, because again, they didn't get the best years of their wife. They didn't get the best out of their wife. So when a guy is sleeping around like Tate, and he's getting these women to get naked on camera for nothing, or like just cause they can't believe it. They're like, this is immoral, but it's only because they can't get anything out of the women. So they're jealous. They're jealous. I won't lie. I've never seen a guy that it's very easy for him to cheat, not do it. I've seen men that are too lazy to go do it, or they think it's too much work or will cause too much problems. But guys, can we just be honest here? You could be the best wife in the world, but if he sees a hot 22-year-old and you're like 45, it's over. Just take the L. Just, you know what I mean? Just eat it. Just makes vast assumptions and generalizes too much. Tony, what are you, a woman? Like, that's what women say. All right. Tommy, you were born a simp, therefore you get nothing.
Be from the home and to have these open conversations with our young children. All right, whether they're male children, female children, we have to make sure that we're having open door.
Female what? Did you just say female children or female children? Let's go back. Y'all already know these ears miss nothing. Let's go back.
You get nothing.
Be from the home and to have these open conversations with our young children. All right, whether they're male children, female children, we have to make sure.
Yo, oh my Lord, bro. What did he say? Young
children. All right, whether they're male children, female children, we have to make sure.
I think he malfunctioned, guys.
That we're having open door conversations and we are tackling the hard subjects. Because if we don't take care of everything at home, we don't take care of everything in public, like at school and other forces within society that.
MGTOW, some of us met our wives when we were 19. Are we talking about the exception or the rule? Are most men, are Gen Z men going to meet their wives when they're 19? You know, I'm sorry. We're beefing today, chat. We're beefing.
Help raise our children. We always say it takes a village. Well, it certainly does, but it starts at home. And if you cannot have these open conversations and allow your children to be honest and open with how they are feeling about society and the things that they are seeing, they are going to go to misogyny. They're going to go to the Andrew and Tristan Tates of the world, and they're going to learn how to be a man from that. And that is not what society needs.
Dude, what do you, I mean, he got a point. But that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, they learn how to be a man from their fathers. Like, why would I go to Andrew Tate why would I need that if I got a dad? What are you talking about?
That's not what the world needs. That is not
So again, they also have a hero complex. So they want, the psychology is they want the world to look up to them, the conservative men. And they use,
he definitely pulled
they
a
don't
Biden.
be like, they want to use their virtue to have other men look up to them.
It's not masculinity. It is masquerading as misogyny.
How do we protect young men from the easy access at the moment there is to people like Tate? I mean, how do you actually put a ring fence around them so that you can tackle exactly what you've just said, but they're not also being dragged into that world?
It's tough because they're growing up in a world we never grew up in, Piers. We didn't grow up with the internet. We didn't grow up with Bumble,
that's right.
Tinder, Instagram, Facebook.
No, I was taught how to treat women by my mother, my grandmother.
Open the door, right?
Aunts,
Open the door.
A lot of strong women in my family, very
Of course there are.
strong women. And they would just take no crap from the men. So that's the environment I grew up in.
Absolutely. So how do we insulate our children from this? By having conversations, putting parameters around the social media aspects of life and having the conversations at home. Hey, son, hey, daughter, this is what you're going to see out there in the real world. This is what you're going to see on the internet. If you see something like this, that is not how a true man is supposed to act. And hey, that's not how a real man's supposed to treat you.
Right. So
we have to have the conversations.
Yeah. Andrew, do you intrinsically disagree with what you've just heard?
Yeah, I do. I think, again, all of this is always the burden on men. Burden on men. Burden on men. Men need to be doing this.
No, it's a family, Andrew. The family.
Hang on. Let me finish,
family, Andrew.
Men need to,
husband and wife.
Okay, yeah. So let me back up. Okay. Again, men need to do this. Men need to do that. What I'm talking about is what duties do women have in society?
3 people. No one can answer his question.
What are the actual women's duties towards men? Everybody is raised from the time they're kids how we're supposed to treat women. We all know how to treat women. We never talk about how men are supposed to be treated. That's almost never discussed, especially by how women are supposed to treat men, what their duties in society are. This has been completely dispelled. Guys like Tate have risen because Christianity itself has become a feminized religion, especially the Protestant sects has become completely feminized. And it didn't used to punish masculinity at all. And now it does. And so where's the alternative? Where's the spiritual alternative? It's nowhere. And we need to get back to this fundamental question of what even is misogyny? Because I don't think
that's what I said in the beginning of the video. What is toxic masculinity? Like, what does this even mean? Like, this just be head scratchers to me, man, because I don't even understand like what do they even come up with this stuff, guys? Seriously though.
Think that men kicking the crap out of each other, being brutes, insulting each other, hazing each other, even bullying each other is misogyny. Not only do I not think it's misogyny, I think it's perfectly healthy.
Yeah, but I don't think that's misogyny.
Well adjusted.
Is that the argument?
But that is not misogyny.
Well, no, hang on. How women see this is
misogyny is where you have a hatred or whatever you want to phrase it towards women. It's not about men treating men.
Sorry, toxic masculinity is what I'm referencing here. And toxic masculinity is what they're claiming leads to misogyny. So what I'm talking about is these are all masculine traits. There's nothing wrong with them, right? When you're talking about misogyny itself, I want to know what that even is. Is it just asserting yourself to women, telling women no, telling them no, that's bullshit?
No, I would say, okay, let me
telling them you're saying stupid things.
Andrew Tate says he's quite open about it. Women should stay at home. They shouldn't go out to work. They should do what he tells them. He's the king of the castle in his house, blah, 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 blah. That is.
I think WRGOA makes a very, very, very good point. Basically, toxic masculinity basically is you basically want to be making men more feminine to society. Like holding the door, that's toxic now. You know what I'm saying? They say like all of these things, like basically chivalry is dead now because of feminism and all of this toxic masculinity garbage. And then people say, oh, why aren't men nice anymore? Because, I mean, women are just mean now. I'm just be honest with you.
He's misogynist.
Okay. So again, why wouldn't you want a man to be the king of the castle in his own house? Isn't that how you want him to feel?
Isn't it? I've got a daughter. I've got a 13-year-old daughter. I don't want her thinking she can never leave the house. She's somebody's
It's not never leaving the house. Look, it is true that the world would be a better place if we didn't have it inverted and women did have a natural role at home, and that was glorified, and that there was government propaganda around the nuclear family and keeping women home. Why do you want to outsource the raising of children to strangers instead of your wife? That's a way better society. Why do you want your best and brightest women forced to go to a workplace instead of the best and brightest women staying at home raising their children? That's a way better system. It's always been a better system.
I guess we're talking freedom of choice.
That's not misogyny.
Women to do anything. It's freedom of choice. It's freedom of choice. I love the fact.
I mean, we get that, but he's referring to a better society, though. Like, would society benefit more or worse of the wife raising the kids other than a stranger? That's what he meant. I mean, we know it's a freedom of choice. Like, duh. That's what I'm saying. Like, I knew you was a dummy.
The fact that my wife's out there.
It's always that one guy, boy.
Working, teaching kids, and building adolescents. I love that. I love that. And to your point about what do I get from a woman? I have a home. I have 3 beautiful children. I have.
For now, I don't know if you'll have that in a year, much less a decade.
Communication in the house. And to me, that means more than anything. Like, I don't understand where I'm not saying you're wrong in your world, but to sit there and say to a woman, what do I?
And do you see Tomi? She's so happy that the simp is fighting for her. None of them have answered a so simple question. What do men get out of it? Men aren't getting children. They're getting maybe one.
I get out of this woman? That's treating her like an object.
One thing I want to play clear.
Okay, so it's okay to treat.
What are you talking? Right, that's what I'm saying. So what are we then? What do you mean treating her like an object? So if that's the case, then we're objects. What do you mean? We do things for women all the time. We literally modernize this, like, everything for society for women. They don't have to poop in wooden toilets anymore. They ain't got to get fought off by bears anymore. Like, we did everything for women so they can keep having children more naturally and more safely. We modernized medicine. So what the hell are we even talking about here, bro? What do you mean objects?
Men like objects, give them duties.
I
but
don't
you're not
feel
allowed
like an
to give
object.
women duties.
I feel respected.
Okay,
in
well,
my
let me
home.
ask.
Okay. And do you know what?
Yeah,
I have to be honest. A lot of these guys are kind of idiots.
He tripping. Yeah.
And I got to be honest, guys. And it's okay. I've done some idiotic things. So this isn't trying to come from a place of I'm better than them or yeah. So I don't want it to appear like that. But, there's decisions I've made in my life and I've looked back and just thought that was idiotic. That was dumb. And that's what I think a lot of men look back when they get married to a miserable wife. They're like, I didn't even Google the divorce laws. That's pretty dumb, right? So, yeah. I mean, this guy, he just hasn't had any consequence. And maybe he never will. I hope he doesn't. But he wants you all to suffer too. And you know why? It's for him. He wants a better future for his kids. Most men don't even know if they're going to have kids. So what the conservatives are saying are you young men who may not even have a wife, who may not even have a family, have to sacrifice your life for my children. Tough sell. That's a tough sell. Nobody can. And they say, what do I get in return? They still got nothing.
Ask you this:
I'm not
How
angry
come it is
about
in the
it.
United States that men can be drafted? Women can't be drafted, but women can vote to send men to war. 18 years old, they're stabbing each other in the face with bayonets. Women can vote to send men to war that they then themselves do not have to fight. It's a duty that men have, they do not have. What's the counter duty for women? There's no obligation for women to have children. We're well under replacement rate. It's slated 45% of women will be single in the next 10 years, up to 60% in the next 30. That's the estimates right now. Our replacement rate, we can't even replace our own country's birth rates. That's how low they are.
Maybe
This is what we're seeing as a systemic issue inside of society because nobody will put duties on women.
Go on,
Instead,
James.
you just
Maybe it's
pretend
men like you
have all
that
the
are
duties.
making that
Maybe that's why the
happen. Maybe you're the
replacement
problem.
rate is low.
Yeah,
It's crazy to me as well that you are just sat there.
Don't talk over each other. Let James speak.
I can't understand why you are sat there confidently thinking of yourself as a victim constantly. You have a platform and you're sat here like, I'm a victim. What are women doing for me? What happened in your childhood that has made you so traumatized as an adult that you can't?
All right, here we going with the who hurt you analogy. Look, man, it's an honest, fair question. I mean, men do have to die for society to keep functioning properly. You know, men do have to work nuclear power plants and be police officers and things like that. So yeah, it's a fair question.
Cannot stand women succeeding. I'm so confused. I feel like the problem is not, and actually maybe this is our fault. Maybe this is the left's fault. Maybe this is modern society's fault for leaving people like you behind. But genuinely, we do not hate men, and toxic masculinity has been thrown around a lot. Ultimately, some of what you're saying is toxic, but that's not because you're a man. That's because you're an idiot.
All right.
Okay. So just to give you a quick rejoinder here. Again, didn't contend.
That don't even make sense what he just said. And then you just result into ad hominem attacks. Like, my head hurt listening to these weird old leftists, man. Seriously.
And with a single argument I made, you just said, why are you acting like a victim? While you're here talking about how women are
victims. You're not contending with arguments that other people are making.
It's wild to me. It's so wild to
me.
You
know, this is Piers' show.
Let me play another clip.
I know this is Piers' show.
Let me go to Tommy. Tommy, I want to play you a clip. This is from a show called Newsnight on the BBC in the UK, where the host, Victoria Darvish, had a panel of young men and asked them, when was the last time you cried? Let's watch this.
When was the last time you cried? Honestly, the last time I cried, I couldn't tell you.
Same with Leo. I can't really remember the last time that I cried fully.
A lot of times I feel emotion and I look at myself, why can't I cry? We're told to suppress our emotions.
I feel like
the conservatives, even though I mostly align in nuance, I still think of this battle as between men and women is selfishness.
So guys, we may be treated a certain way that evokes an idea that we have to be extremely strong and upfront and here as a man. And
guys, when the last time y'all cried, man? That's a good question. It's been a minute. Funeral, I think.
I'm going to be composed at all times.
Now, I've got a slight issue with this, Tommy, in the sense that one of the most devastating moments for me as a movie watcher was watching James Bond blubbing in the last Bond movie. Right? I don't think to prove you're a modern man, you need to be sobbing all the time. You know, I can't remember the last time I cried. It doesn't make me less of a man or less empathetic to people or anything. I think again, the pendulum issue of what we want men to be, I think we're now trying to persuade a lot of young men, if you're not emoting all the time, then you're being suppressed in some way. We have over here the British stiff upper lip, which I think is a really bad rap. I think it's not a bad thing to actually not over-emote. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think.
Oh, sorry, Sean. I'll come to you. That was for Tommy. I'll come to you in a minute, Sean.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
For Tommy.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, Piers. I don't think that men should be trained to be overly emotional and that should be a sign now of new maturity, being emotional. I don't agree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with men crying in certain circumstances. Listen, everybody has a different journey. Everybody has a different set of circumstances. There are circumstances wherein men crying, I have no issue with. It's also not up to me to tell a man when he can or cannot cry. I personally prefer the men in my life not to be overly emotional, but that's just a personal preference. Really, who am I to tell a man how he should exhibit his emotions? But again, I think that there is two sides here that are both too extreme. You've got the one hand that wants men to be feminine and cry and show their emotion and be weak. And then you've got the other side that says you cannot cry, you must always be strong, and you should look at women as an object. So again, there's got to be a happy medium here. I think there once was, but now because of, again, I agree, there was an overreaction of the feminist movement to make men weak. I don't agree with that either.
Yeah.
I just wish we could come to a place where there was a happy medium.
And who gets to decide the medium? You, of course.
Where people could just
now this is just, you're not behaving the way that I want. That's what she's saying.
Be human beings who could have a gender role, but weren't married to that gender role and absolute.
Okay, so now she's saying we could be human beings who would have a gender role, but not married to that gender role. So that's how the conservative women get around. They want the clout and the benefit of appearing traditional without doing any of the hard things like putting.
Damn, Square, 9 years is a long time, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Away their media careers, raising their kids, not having a nanny do it, or not putting their relationship on the internet. I don't blame them. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like, they get paid to talk. I'm not even saying they shouldn't do what they're doing. I mean, if your wife could get $3 million a year to do a couple news shows and you work a little, like, it's 2025, but it's not what they're selling. right? That's the point.
There's got to be a place for that. I would certainly hope.
Yeah. Andrew Wilson, when was the last time you cried?
When I had a death in my family.
And how long ago was that? If you don't mind me asking.
Many years. Yeah, many years. I don't know, maybe a decade, something like that.
Right. So you haven't shed a tear in a decade?
I don't think so, no.
Would you see it inherently as a weakness in a man to emote?
Well, yeah. Men, listen, you don't want men to fall to pieces in crisis. You're the head of a family. You're the head of your household. And also you're the heads of nations. You have a moral obligation not to fall to pieces. In fact, I would say you're duty bound not to. You need to be able to control your emotions, and you need to be able to attempt to control them at all times. It's not to say that you're not going to lose control. Nobody's perfect. But I think...
Yeah, he's spitting facts, y'all. Facts.
That the idea of the stoic man is a much better prospect for the idea of like this leftist that I'm arguing with next to me on the panel. I would not want to be that guy, that person who just cannot control their internal emotions. They can't do it. And unfortunately, again, this is through the viewpoint of the feminine prism, that it's only through...
Look, he want to cry right now. He want to cry right now.
Empathy, right? Empathy first. And it's like, no, it's not always about empathy. It's also about reason. It's also about logic. It's also about understanding that we live in a carnal world full of warring tribes who are always killing each other. And that's part of the human condition. You can't afford to have your men losing control to emotion or to empathy.
James, when was the last time you didn't cry on a date? Let's flip the question around.
I haven't cried today, but I did cry yesterday.
Yeah, I bet. Weirdo. But anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. I mean, to me, I'm not gonna lie to you. It sounds a little bit like she's a feminist, just a tad bit. Only reason because she was leading with feminine logic. Now I like Tomi Lahren, she's big in the conservative world and things like that, But my thing is, when she says she don't really care if she be called a feminist or not, I would get real offended by that if I wasn't a feminist. Just saying. Like, don't put feminist or nothing in my name. If I'm not a feminist, don't put me in no tags. And it's like, at the end of the day, do I think men should cry? Absolutely. Should they cry around a woman? Absolutely not. Only reason why is, now, here's the thing. Men go through hardships, man. Like, it gets real, real tough. Like, I'm a man at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And then, you lose people in your life, and, that makes you cry. And, stuff get tough nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Bills and stuff like that. You got to worry about how you're going to feed your family and things like that, man. It gets real hard on you from time to time, So there's nothing wrong with, wait, is that true? What the world? Not Charlemagne the God. We're gonna have to get back to that. But yeah, man, it's like, it's okay if men cry like sometimes, but not like all the time and then get all emotional things like that, like what Andrew Wilson was saying. Yeah, like, I don't agree with that at all. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, man, there's nothing wrong with wanting a family. Like, you know what I'm saying? The women nowadays, they're just getting abortions. They don't want to, have kids, and they don't want to have a family, and they want to have, be boss babes and stuff like that, like, which is fine. But it's like, is it good for society? Absolutely not. And then it's like, it's not like, people are getting any better out here, But I don't know, guys. Me personally, it sounded a bit feminist to me, but you guys just let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll be uploading a video in a minute, guys. So make sure you like and subscribe to this video, and I will see you guys next time. And I'm out of here. Peace.